Hi all, today we will talk about organization policy and how to use it and how it works. So basically organization policy configures are like a single constraint so that can restrict one or more Google Cloud services, and we can set this policy on the organization level, folder level, or the project resource which we want to enforce this constraint. And our organization policy contains one or more rules and like which specify how to enforce this constraint, and we can even use tags with this policy. And like if you want to apply this policy to specific resources like environment equals to development, so we can use this policy to like enforce on specific resources. Like if you have multiple projects and you want to enforce this policy to specific development projects, so you can use like this. And if we define this policy at the organization level, so it will be inherited by all the resources like the folder at the project and the resources. And if we attach this folder level to project, all the projects under that folder will use this policy. And if we put on the project level, so all the resources for this constraint has been there, it will use that policy. So the organization policy administrator will defines organization policy, and it will be set on the resource hierarchy node, and which can be your organization, your folder, or your like project. And if it defined on the organization or folder level, it will be inherited to the descendant resource hierarchy nodes. So like if defined on organization level, so it will be inherited by your folder and organize or on folder and your projects. And the constant is for a specific GCP service. So the constant you will choose, it will be for a service, and it will enforce that constant on that specific node. So like if you have used organization here, so it will be enforced constant of that the organization level, or and its children's also like its descendants like folder and projects. And so now let's see what is a constant. So constant is basically type of restrictions against a Google Cloud service, or you can say a list of Google Cloud service, and it is a blueprint which defines what behavior are controlled. So like if you think of a constant like if you want to disable service account key, so it is a kind of restrictions only which you want to define at that org level or folder or project level. And it will a blueprint which defines like how it will work and what will happen if someone try to create a key with disable at the organization level. And this blueprint is then applied to a resource in a resource hierarchy as an organization policy, and which implement the rule defined inside the constraint. And there are two type of constraint, whether it can be a list or it can be a boolean. So basically list constraint evaluate the constants which have a list of allowed and denied values. So like if you want to allow VMs with a external IP, so it can be a list like 10 VMs, 20 VM which you want to allow to have a uh, external IP. And boolean means it can be true or false, means yes allow or you deny. So boolean can be like if you want to allow service account to create a new key, so that can be a boolean. And booleans are either enforced or not enforced for a given resource. And we can use tags also. So tags will like conditionally enforce based on the whether resource have a specific tag or not. Suppose you have disabled that service account creation at the organization level, on that specific project can create service account key, so you can use tags, and you can attach a tag like service account key equals to yes, and use, and after that just create a conditional policy that if someone try to create a tag from this specific project, it will be allowed. So if someone try to get service account key from this specific project, that will be allowed. We will see how to do all these things. And these are some benefits like organization policy gives you a centralized and programmatic control over your cloud source, like how you want to define the policies and all that. And we can define and establish guard for development teams to stay within the compliance boundary. So they like if you want to disable anything, so they will be in compliance. No one, if someone tries to break the compliance, it will not work for them. Like you don't want anyone have external IP, or you want to disable serial port access, or you want to disable service account key creation or new service account creation, so we can use this. It will also helps like project owners and their teams to work quickly without worrying on breaking compliance. Like they don't have to worry like if we use this service, maybe this is a compliance issue, so they can work without any issue. And like we can also limit resource sharing based on the domain level. We can limit the usage of IAM service accounts. Like we want to define the service account, as we know, if someone create a service account key, can use any resource if it has the broad permissions, that service account key. And we can also restrict the physical location of newly created resource. Like if you want all your resource must be created in India location, so we can use this organization policy. If someone try to create any resource outside India, so it will like give error. Cannot be like we cannot create the your resource outside India. So like this, you can define the boundaries how this all things works. So let's do a demo and see how to use this organization policies. So I'm in my console as of now. So you can see I'm at the organization level cloud concepts for you.in, and I'm in the organization policy tab. And in this, we have multiple policies that we can see, like, and we have the constraint type. It can be list or it can be a boolean. So, and like as of now, we have 121, but maybe in future it can be increased, as we know, maybe. So let's start with external IP first. So let's go to external IP. So in this, let's go inside this, and it will give you a brief description like what this do. So basically, it is used if you want to allow external IP for your VM instances. So as of now, like by default, it will allow all the VMs to have the external IP. But if you want to deny or allow or want the specific VMs only have external IP, we can use this policy at the organization level, folder level, project level. So first of all, we will define it the organization level. So we will click on manage policy. So once you click on manage policy, we have three options for the policy source. It can be inherit parent policy. So as out now we at the organization level, so this option will not work for us. So because we are the root, so there is no one above this. So we can leave this option. After that, we have Google manage default policy, like what Google says about this policy, like whether this allows or not. We can choose that also. We can check the documentation for this specific, like what Google manage default policy talk about. After that, we have override parent policy. So if you want to override this policy, want to make some changes, we have to click on this override parent policy. In some policy, you will find two options, whether you want to merge this policy with the parent or you want to replace this whole policy. So suppose it at the as of now we are the organization level, so there is no means we either we use this or this, both are same only. But suppose you are the folder or the project level and you want to enforce this policy, then these options came very handy. Like if you want to merge the policy with your parents, and like it's the organization level, some VMs has already been allowed, and you want your VM also allowed, or you want to just replace this policy. So we will see how this basically work. After that, we have to use the rules. So for a policy to work, we have to add a rule. So we have three type of rules as of now in that list one. We can allow all, deny all, or custom. So allow or deny all, we know means it will allow all the all the VMs to we have that external IP. It will deny all, and it will allow custom. Like if we want to custom like allows like only 3 4 VMs. So in that we also have allow policy or deny policy, and we in this we have to provide a value, and for this value will come like in this form: projects, project ID, zone name, and after the instance name, and we have to put that, and we can add a condition also. And let's first of all we will deny all, and after that we will see how it works, and click on done and set this policy. So as of now we are seeing that no VM at the organization level can have an external IP. So let's go to our VM and we will try to create a new VM and see whether it allows to have an external IP or not. Later on, we will see how we can manage this policy. So let's go inside this and give a handy name like test1, and after that we can go down, click on advanced option, and we can go inside the networking. And if we click on this default interface, the network interface, we can see this that we cannot use external IP. Even if you click on this, there is no option, neither we can reserve external IP address. So let's click on done and create a VM without first for external IP. So our VM has been created. Now suppose there is a requirement that at the organization level, this specific VM must have a external IP. So for that, we can manage our like policy once again. We can come inside that. Instead of deny all, we can click on custom. We will choose a policy type. We will choose allow policy, and we have to provide a value here. for the value we have to come here and choose this, and we have to provide the project ID, zone and instance. So instance name is test1. This is my project type for the zone. Now we can take this value and we will click on done, click on set policy, and this policy has been now there. So it is only one rule which is allowing this specific VM. So if so on this VM we can now put a external IP. Let's come back here and let me refresh my page. So let's go inside our VM once again and click on edit option, and we can come down and click on our network interface. Now we can see we have the option to use a external IP. We will click on done and click on save. Now this VM have our external IP. Even if we now create a new VM also, still it doesn't have option to create external IP. Only this VM specifically, which we have allowed via policy, has the option of use external IP. Let's go back or go inside networking folder and once again click on this, and still we see you cannot use on this any new VM, but still we create this VM, and I will want to show you if you want to use this as a project or folder level how we can like manage this policy. Our VM has been created, and as per policy only this VM can have external IP. So I'm in my project and I will again search for external only, and I will go for external IP. So now this policy is inheriting my parent policy. So inheriting means it is using my parent policy. So my parent is as of now the organization, because I am not using any folders. So it is just sourcing all the things which had been enforced at the organization level. So you can see it is also showing this only. So now if we click on manage policy, now we have two options whether you want to inherit. As of now we can see it is already inherit. We can click on Google manage, but basically you have to click on this override managed parent policy. Now we have two options whether we want to merge our policy with our parent, or we just want to replace this policy. So we will ignore the parent policy and use our own rules. So if we click on replace, we will for this specific project we will have a different rules and all that, and if we want to merge this with our parent, so our all the rules will combine. So if we have denied something at the organization level and allow here, it will not work. So you have to make sure what we are doing if you are merging with parent. So if you want to replace, just click on replace and add the rules. So let's go with replace only. Let's see what we have here, and again we will choose a custom only, and we will say allow, and again we can just copy the same thing from here, just we will update the VM name, and we will come here, and this is our test2 VM which we have created. We will click on done and we will click on set policy. So our policy is now only allowing test2 VM. So let's go back. As you know that we have already enabled external IP on the test1 VM. So now we have just override our policy and we have just replaced the parent. So in this project only test2 VM can have used the external IP. So basically test1 cannot use now external IP. So it will not remove anything which has been, and like, so if any resource already using something, it will not remove that. You have to manually remove. So this external IP will not remove automatically. We have to go inside this test VM, we have to remove this IP, and if you try to again enable this IP, it will not work. So we can test that out. So let's go to test1 VM and let's click on edit option, and let's come back here once again, and you can see it is again is automatically showing this we are not allowed to use external IP. So let's click on none once and click on save, because we can manually now have to change. So if someone is already using, it will not affect. Otherwise your all organization resources can go shut down because of this by mistake if someone at a policy. So this is a safe side that Google provides to us. So now our test one doesn't have an external IP. So if we go back into test one and once again click on edit and try to see whether that option will come or not now, you can come down, click on this, and we can see now that option has gone away. Uh, it is not showing. We even cannot click on it. So that confirm that we are just replace the policy. We are using specific policy for this specific project. So now suppose you want to, now let's come back to here and we will again click on manage policy, and instead of replace we will click on merge with parent, and what will happen, it will combine both the policies, and we will click on set policy. So we can see now both test 1 and test 2 are allowed to use external IP. We can come here, just refresh this page because it will take some time, or like because of cache it will show all data only sometimes. So you can must refresh your page, and we can come inside test 1, and once again we can put external IP to it, because now we are merged both the policy. So at the organization level also and at the project level also, both the policy will work together, and we will click on edit. Again we have the option to attach a internal IP on the both VM. Now we can do this. So this is a very thing which I want to show you. But if sometimes I like, if you want to, suppose want to deny something, suppose you have allowed all the IPs and now you want to deny some rules, like deny some specific VMs who don't have any IP, and you will put the same thing here and it will not work. So what is the thing, that tag is not work with that VM level. Tag will only work with, as of what I have seen, I have tried multiple demo, and what I have uh, like in the document also, it told that it will work on organization level, folder, and project resources and storage. These four only. So in this we can see multiple things, like on the service account tag will work, but on this VM thing, if you try to do something like allow to use some value with this add condition, like if some specific VM has this specific tag, allow that, it will not work. You can try, if it work you can comment it down how you have done it, but I have tried many things like serial port access and all that. This tag condition will not work on the VM. So this I want to tell you. After that, what we can do, like for that project resources, like project resources I want to mean like your service account or anything. So let's go to our service account, and I want to show you something like here, like at the organization level, if I come back and in my policies, and I will search for service account. If I go inside this service account key creation, and we can see it is already enforced. And what is it enforcing? So it is a boolean. It can be true or false. So this boolean disables the creation of service account external keys where the constant is set to true. So enforcement, it is set to true. By default, service account creation can be created by user based on IAM roles and permissions. So right now I cannot create service account key. If I even go here and go inside my service account also, even in default service account I don't, but any at anywhere I cannot create a key, even in any service account. So if I click on add, create a new key and click on create, it will say like organization policy enforced at the organization level. So what can I do? I have two options. So I can come here and click on manage policy, whether I can, so as of now it is enforcing, so whether I can make it off. So if I make it off, it will allow every project to create and service account, which can be a dangerous at the organization level. So anyone have access, he or she can create a key that I don't want. So I can click and add a new rule, and in this new rule I can make the condition enforcement off, but I have to add a condition. I cannot make true, yes, like true and false, like enforce and enforce together. So if even I click on set policy, it will give error that I am not allowed to do that. Even it is also saying that more than one rule lacks a condition. So we have to add a condition, otherwise we cannot save this. So in this condition option, so we can select project one allow to create service account key, and in the condition we have to use a tag, and tag as a value, and we have to provide a path for that. So before doing that, we have to first of all we have to create a tag also. So we can come here and we can go to IM and click on tags. So if you don't know about tags, you can check out my video. So in which we have to click a key first. So we can say it is service account. uh, Service account. After that, we have to provide a value. So we can say service account yes, or you can see and description also all that, and just click a key. Now we can come inside that. So what we are saying here, if any like project one, if we want to allow project one to create a service account key, so we have created a key. Now we have to make this key available to our project. So we can click on manage resources and we can choose our first project, click on tags, and we can select a scope and select current project, and this is our project which is service account which we want to make it yes, and click on save, and we will make it confirm. So we have attached a tag to our first project. So it means with the help of this tag we can now uh, create a policy which can allow this specific project to create a service account. So if we go inside this value option, it will give our tag value path which it is asking about, tag value path. We have click on yes, click on save. So we have attached a condition and set policy. So our condition is that as of now this policy is enforced, but if anyone has this specific tag service account key equals to yes, so that time this policy will not enforced. So tag will work at this things like VPC level or your service account level. So let's come back here and let's again click on create a new key, and let's click on create. It will take some time. We have to click on, let me refresh my page once. So our private key has been created. We can see it is saved to our computer. So it will take some time to this organization constraint to be active. Now this has been created. Now suppose you don't want to touch policy at the organization level. So one more thing which we can do, let's remove this rule as of now and click on set policy. Now we will do this at the so as of now I have again enforced this. So if I try to create a key once again, it must give me the same error if it is updated. Let it be updated. It will take some time that. So now it is again giving the service configuration disabled. So let's go back to organization policy at the project level, and we will again search about service account, and we will go inside this again creation, and we will click on manage policy. We can see it is enforced because we are inheriting manage parent policy, but now we will click on override parent policy. We can see there is no merge with parent option because this is a kind of boolean, we cannot merge it, and we come inside. So now we will make it off in at the project level. So at the organization level it is now on. So in the, at the project level we will make it off. Click on done and click on set policy. So it means that at that organization level it is still off, but for this specific project that we want that anyone can create a service account key. So we can do like this also. Like if you don't want to touch that condition at the organization level so that it cannot mess up like any project. So better you can enable at the project level also. So we can see now the private key has been saved to our computer, and like in this at a project level we cannot use tags because we cannot attach tag to our service account. There is no option to add a tag here from the console, so it works fine here. So one thing which we can try like right now, like for the storage bucket also, if you want to add constraints, so we can use for that also, and with the storage bucket we can use even tags also. So only storage bucket support tags at the resource level as per the documentation. So let's try that also once. So for the storage we can search We can use at organization level, project level as you want. So the best which we can use as of now, we can use this enforce uniform bucket level access. And what will happen, it will make sure that every bucket have this uniform bucket only, bucket level access. As we know, we have two types like ACL or this one. So we will click on manage policy, and we click on override manage policy and make it on, and click on done, and click on set policy. So now every bucket must have this uniform level only. So let's go to storage. And so if I go by this bucket test cloud concepts, and if I click on configuration option, and then if I come down, like now we don't have option to edit this, like we cannot edit uniform to fine grained. So we can see this specific constraint is working fine even if we click on create new bucket. And if we come down, let's give anything and continue. And if we want to use fine grained, it can say your organization requires that bucket to use uniform bucket level access option. So as of now, we can see we cannot create a fine grained bucket, and even we cannot change this. So one option now what we have, we can change, we can use the tags option here. So let's go to tag once again. We'll click on this create tag. So and in this we can say fine grained, and after that we can add a value yes, and click on create tag key. And now we'll come here again in a manage policy, and in this we add a new rule. In this we will say this condition make it off if our, we have to give a title, allow fine grained, and we say if it has a tag that has a value, and that value we can take from here, this value, this is the value, and value path is this. So we can saying that if some bucket has a specific tag and fine grained and has a value of yes on that bucket, we want that this condition will not applied. So as of now, this is our policy. Now let's go back, click on, let's go inside this bucket, and we can go to configuration option. We will uh, click on this option, tags option, and we can choose a new tag. We can choose a tag, select current project, and this is our fine grained which we want, and value is yes. So we are attaching a tag to specific bucket. So we want this specific bucket to be as a fine grained. So still let's refresh this page, but we can see still we cannot have an option to edit this option like from here. So basically it doesn't show in this console option. So for that we have to go to at that cloud shell. So I'm in my cloud shell. So this is the command to make sure like G cloud storage bucket update, and we want to update this bucket G test cloud concepts, no uniform bucket level access, and we want to remove this uniform one, and we will click on this. I will need to authorize, and we can see it is showing as completed. If we refresh this page, let's see. We can see now we have the option. We can see now it is this pencil icon has come again back. We have the option to edit this now. So we can see now we have the option of this to change this model. Like we can go fine grain and uniform. Now this is working fine. So maybe now let's try with this bucket also, cloud concept 2, whether this bucket allows like the same way like we have done for this. On this we don't have any tag for fine grain, and this is also no pencil I can enable here. Let's come back to this and run a command for cloud test concepts 2, with that is our bucket name, and we click on enter. So it is showing error request violates constraint, which is this bucket level access completed 0. So for this it is not working, but for first bucket it is working because we have used a tag which is allowing us to this specific bucket only. So if it matches a tag, it can allow us to use like change that level. And but it work all for only for this storage. If you try for VM, it will not work. If it works, you can just comment it down how you have done it, because I have tried, it is not working for me, this tag option. And so we have done the most of the testing. In the next part I will tell you how to create like custom constraints. So as of now we have only tried that predefined, even we can create custom, and I will show you how this works and how to create all this. If you have any suggestions or you think anything I've done wrong or right, just comment it down. I will try to figure it out and work on it. And any questions, just comment it down. Thank you.